Hello, everyone, and welcome in. I am Aaron St. Dennis at FF Mad Scientist, joined today by Jesse Moeller at JMoeller05 and Jeremy Showman at FF_Rebel. How's it going, guys? Did you survive the last week? I know Jeremy didn't, and I
Barely.
think Jesse's rubbing it
Barely.
in here. I lost him
Yeah,
too. My work league, I lost him too, but I mean, I have Sam Howell as my backup, so it's not terrible. I'm not completely dead.
yeah. I'm gonna be like rolling with Joe Flacco and Jake Browning in a league in the playoffs, and I have a good team in that league,
Jake
and I'm
Browning.
like, YOLO, let's go, baby. That's just the life of fantasy football this year, man. We're down with like 10 quarterback starters that are good this year. It's a wild season.
I got lucky. The only two leagues I had Herbert in, they're both single QB, and both leagues I had like a pretty decent backup. And like I said, I had Sam Howell. I think I had Kyler in the other. So both leagues I looked at and I said, fuck it, I'm good. I don't care. I'm good.
Like, this is good. Yeah, it's nice when it's that easy.
Yeah, man. I was just saying how I dealt Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and I'm still the third seed, but I was a 1 seed for a while. Let's see who it was. It was Herbert, yikes. Madison, yikes. Devontae Smith, okay. And an early second and third, which I turned into Moss and Montgomery. So if my running backs can carry me, maybe there's a chance. But I'm rolling out Dobbs and Brown or Mullins, whichever one plays, and Browning this week. So not great. Lost that bye.
That's not great.
Yeah. Right.
No bueno.
Let's get into
if only I had this guy.
Uber exciting week.
Yeah, for real.
Don't let Dennis hear you say that.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting week as the backup quarterbacks continue to roll in. You'll notice the list of dart throws is growing by the week. There are more backup quarterbacks playing than starters, but still shallow leagues. If you happen to get lucky like I did and lose Justin Herbert and have any of these guys, more specifically Kyler Murray or Sam Howell, go get them. Derek Carr is Derek Carr. Medium leagues, we got Russ, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield seem to be about 50% owned. Deeper leagues, Jake Browning, Gardner Minshew, and Will Levis have proven they do have a ceiling, but they are very volatile. And we've got the ugly, nasty backups here that nobody knows what the hell you're going to get. My preference would easily be Joe Flacco or Tommy DeVito. They also mix in Bailey Zappi, Mitchell Trubisky, Aiden O'Connell, Zach Wilson, Drew Lock, and Nick Mullins. And this list is so bad, Zach Wilson may be the third on the list for me. That's how bad it is. What do you guys think?
He looks good. Zach Wilson, there was a report where they said, he wasn't afraid to lose his job because he got benched. And DJ Reed, the corner, was like, he looks completely different. Like, he looks like a good NFL quarterback. And he looked good. So I don't know, man. At this point, it's like throw darts. But I want to say about DeVito, his schedule is money after this week against New Orleans. He gets Philly twice and the Rams sandwich in between. And they're both top 7 options. So if you are on a bye and you need to pick someone up, go get DeVito because that end of season stretch is money if you need a quarterback.
It's funny you started that talking about Dobbs, though. I had an interest. Did you say uh-oh? I had an interesting one where this was probably a month ago. I had someone offer me their I forget what it was, but anyways, he wanted Sam Howell for Dobbs and I turned it down. Then like this weekend, he sent me the same thing and I turned it down. And then he sent me, my backup was a deep league. He then sent me Josh Dobbs for Zach Wilson and I still turned that down. So my how quickly Dobbs has fallen to where he turned down Sam Howell for Dobbs. And now I'm turning down Zach Wilson for Dobbs. So how bad it's gotten.
It's rough for Dobbs. It's rough.
You got to hit the market at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you got here, Jeremy? What do you think?
Stafford was so impressive against the Ravens last week. They've got that offense clicking. Cooper Kupp actually came alive last week. They got Dennis Allen at tight end. So Stafford is probably my number one ad here. He gets Washington, New Orleans, which isn't so scary lately, especially without Lattimore. And then you got the Giants in week 17, which is middle of the road. So I really like Stafford, especially what he's been able to do against Cleveland and Baltimore last few weeks. But Howell, Wilson, Browning, and DeVito as well. Yeah, I like Flacco. I like those guys.
There's one name I missed out down here in Drew Lock, Nick Mullins territory, and that is Easton Stick.
Yeah. Did you see him throw that 105-mile-an-hour fastball by Eckler's head wide open in the end zone?
That's
all he has to do is lob it. He's like, I'm throwing a heater, baby. And I was like, what are you doing, dude?
YOLO.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, this sucks for Keenan Allen.
That's why he's not on the list.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's wrong.
Yeah, but also Russell Wilson is another guy who's got crazy schedule. He's got Detroit, New England, who doesn't care and is trying to lose every game they play now and accidentally winning, at least last week, and then the Chargers week 17. So I like that second tier there: Wilson, Stafford, and even Baker.
And that's a good point that I tweeted out earlier when promoting my matchup guides as well. This week, well, the playoffs, the 3 weeks of the playoffs, more so than at any point. Don't just, whether you're reading mine, Fantasy Pros, whatever, don't just read these waiver wire columns. Read the waiver wire column, but also go over to the league winners and bring up my matchup chart, because there's nothing worse than seeing Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield on the waiver wire, and you take Mayfield and then realize, oh shit, his schedule is fucking terrible and I can't play him anyways. And then, someone took Wilson. So before you just blindly add one of these guys, go see what they have, because in this range, with the exception of Murray, Howell, probably Stafford, most of these guys are extremely matchup dependent, and you're just streaming whoever has the best matchup. So this time of year, combine the waiver article with the matchup guide and see if you can't pull something out of your ass there when you need it.
Yeah, because Flacco's going against Chicago, so like if you wanted to go him this week and then you wanted to transition to DeVito after that, like you could totally go that route. So like you can play a mix and match like you're talking about, absolutely.
Yeah, but exactly. They do have that line. They will protect him against that all of a sudden fearsome Chicago pass rush. But the Chicago D has been a lot better. And then Flacco has Houston and the New York Jets. I'm not loving his schedule to wrap up the end of the year. So just be wary.
How familiar are you guys with WordPress? Does anybody know? Okay, see all these highlighted players? That's links. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to highlight and have them linked in a different color? I hate that they're baby blue where you can barely see them.
I don't know.
I don't know, actually.
Like I'd rather they were even red or something, or dark blue.
Yes.
Like, I hate it.
It kind of blurs into the white. It's
I'm straining my eyes to see it, and I wrote the damn thing, but that's how they're linked to their player page, and that's how they come up, and I freaking hate it. So if anybody knows how to fix that, please let me know. All right. Any final thoughts here at the quarterback mess here?
I mean, you can check and see if, like, we're talking about Locke. Gino is more than likely going to play. So, like, I would not really be too concerned with Locke. So, if someone dropped Gino, like, maybe you could take a stab at him, because let me tell you, that's a massive upgrade seeing Gino and what Locke did last week. So, if Gino's available, he's worth the dart throw, too. That's
actually him being out. It reminded me of something very interesting I forgot. The reason these two here might be available in more leagues than you would expect, like going into last week, I think they were both over my 80% threshold. They both dropped 10% in ownership because they both came off a bye. So people had to stream other players. They dropped them to either pick up another quarterback or someone else. So Kyler Murray and Sam Howell may be available in more leagues than you think, just based on the fact that they were the last two players to have buys and may have found their way there just because they had no other spot on the roster. So that's like I said, that's why I think these two are probably more available than you would expect. Otherwise, I don't think you'd be able to get them in any league. Like dynasty leagues, these guys are nowhere near the waiver wire. But
yeah.
All righty. I think I looked through the sleepers trending. There's nothing there. They've got some stuff. It's like they've got Desmond Ridder. I don't really want anything. I guess he's in the same group as the rest of these guys. They're not great. Then they get really ridiculous. 14, 15, 16, and 17 are Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Jordan Love. All four are 96% rostered or higher. How are they being added so much? They're 90% owned. I don't get it.
It's got to be shallow league, 1 QB.
Yes. Very much so. It's got to be. Yeah, because you need to be one of those guys. Absolutely.
So yeah. If those guys are available, go get them. But spoiler alert, they're not available. So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to running backs, where my favorite is Chase Brown, although he's not my favorite because I own a fair amount of Joe Mixon, and he's not. Well, I guess he's not killing him because Mixon's still been awesome, but he's not helping. So shallow leagues here, we've got Ezekiel Elliott, who is by far. Well, I guess he's not by far my favorite in this top group. By far, my least favorite is A.J. Dillon. I much prefer Zeke or Singletary. I prefer Zeke over Singletary because we don't know what the hell. They seem to be rotating with him and Pierce, which one's useful. Medium leagues, I've got some guys I prefer to speculate on. I don't really want to play any of these guys this week. We got Zach Charbonnet, Roshan Johnson, Damian Pierce, Kareem Hunt, Keaton Mitchell, CEH, and Roshan Johnson. I like so much I put him on there twice. Deeper league options, we got Jerick McKinnon, who I like over CEH, Josh Kelly, Tyjae Spears, who I like over most of the people on this list, and Miles Sanders if you're absolutely desperate. And I think I like this dart throw section more than I like half the people up here because I don't mind Ty Chandler, love Chase Brown, Latavius Murray, generic Prince, nothing special. What jumps out at you here while I go take the second Roshan Johnson off of my list?
I think it depends what you're looking for, right? Like if you're looking for someone that you need to plug and play, it's going to be like those McKinnon guys.
I assume that's what you're looking for going into round one. Like nobody's really stashing speculative players at this time.
No, because like there's some like
maybe
Well,
like if you can get your hands on
handcuffs, if you've got the extra bench spot, you might be stashing a handcuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
But like it just depends on the upside of certain players. Like we've seen McKinnon do it before. He scored a touchdown last week. He's in the Kansas City offense, so he's always going to have a role, and their wide receiver room just isn't good, so he's going to play well. And we saw Spears last night. Like Spears looks really good, and he plays that role where he's getting the receiving targets. So I love Spears late if you can get him. But obviously Zeke's the crown jewel. Like his role and usage is off the charts, and as long as he's the RB1 there, like he's going to produce fantasy points. Even with Bailey Zappi, it doesn't matter. It's a wild case that we're making for Zeke, but he's by far the guy I want above anyone else. Like it's honestly not even close.
Bet you didn't think you'd hear yourself say those words.
Not at all.
I mean, I totally agree, but Zeke's not going to be the RB1 overall in the week ever again. But still, Kansas City, Denver, that's a good one. Buffalo, pretty decent. So to wrap out the year, Zeke is going to be valuable. He'll at least be as valuable as Ramondre. And if the Patriots are smart, which I really hope they are, but we'll see. They're going to let Ramondre just sit on the bench and take the rest of the year off and just feed Zeke as much as possible. So you hope that's the case. AJ Dillon looked awesome last night, for AJ Dillon, and still he didn't hit 10 PPR points, right? So just leave AJ Dillon alone. I was AJ Dillon's biggest fantasy fan. Drafted him everywhere, thought he was a value for a couple years. He just can't do it. And whether it's the line or whether it's, the soft way that he runs with that gigantic frame, I can't believe how many times he just stood up going through the middle, going at the goal line. Happened again last night. So leave AJ Dillon alone. Who you want, I think, is Devin Singletary. If he's out there, go grab him. That's a massive one. And then, between CEH or McKinnon, I don't really care. Go get either one. And then Chase Brown, man. Chase Brown is just getting the ball between the 20s. I don't care that he's not the goal line man. If he's out there, just go get him. He's got the role that you want to see on a team that needs playmakers.
Yep, AJ Dillon looks like Tarzan, runs like Jane. But like you said, back with the Ezekiel Elliott scenario there, it's the playoffs. Don't worry about next week. Worry about next week when you get there. If you're in a situation where you've got Ramondre on the bench and don't fucking worry about stashing Ramondre in case he comes back championship weekend. If my theory is once you get into playoffs, anyone you can't see yourself playing this week, they're droppable. There's no, Ramondre, we don't know if he'll come back. If he does, who knows? He comes back week 17. You've been out for 2 weeks. That you could have used the roster spot. So Ramondre Stevenson, I've dropped in a few leagues. I've dropped Jonathan Taylor in a league. Like these guys who I don't know when I'm going to see them again. I don't think Taylor's done for the year, right? Is he on IR though? IR officially?
No, he's actually not even on IR.
Came out today.
Like
but he's out. He's out. I needed the spot anyways, and I could. There was no IR, and I couldn't hold him. So.
That's the thing that sucks.
Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah, like just make the move. Like go get what you need in your team, right? It's that simple. We can't mess around. You're gonna be out in eliminated playoffs. So
this is the rare time where all season I'm holding some of these like high upside guys like the Charbonnet and the Roshan. Right about now, the appealing ones to me are the Zeke, Singletary, Jerick McKinnon. Like I want guys. I'm only interested in guys who can give me points this week. I don't care that they may be more useful later. Like I don't care. What can you do for me now is all I'm interested in. Nothing else matters to me. So as old and
guy,
what's that?
A guy who may smash this week, to your point, Keaton Mitchell against the Jags. They've just been awful, and we missed talking about him. Go get him if he's out there. Gus is being phased out.
Yeah, Mitchell was a little disappointing last week, so people might be dropping him, looking for other options. So yeah, 100%. Like if you can get him, go get him.
Over on the sleeper side of it, they have Patrick Taylor in here as one of the options. He's the second most added. He played on 47% of snaps, only put up 7 points. So I get it. Aaron Jones is, who knows when the hell he's coming back, but I didn't want Aaron or AJ Dillon. I definitely don't want AJ Dillon's handcuffs. So no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Deonta Foreman was the third most added player, and that's largely because he had like 60% of the Chicago workload. I'd prefer to avoid that entire situation. Zamir White, 60% added. That is a straight up handcuff. Why he would be added the most this week, I don't know. He had 2 carries. I'm not stashing handcuffs week 1 of the playoffs.
It's the Jacobs injury. Like he is dealing with an injury right now, so I think that's the Jacobs injury.
Yeah, but I think he's going to play.
I think so. It's just like that injury. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems pretty significant. So hopefully he's back. But yeah,
it could just be a desperation, Adam, and hope. But DNP Monday, it's a quad. Oh, he's not a DNP. It was an estimated DNP. They didn't practice.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see the news today.
Yeah, Monday and Wednesday reports you usually can't rely on this year. Just see what happens. Maybe on a Tuesday if somebody sits is of concern, but you really got to wait until Thursday, Friday.
I'm probably benching Jacobs either way this week. Like I'm not doing that.
They're playing the Chargers. They're playing the Chargers, so I like the matchup.
It's a good matchup.
If Jacobs doesn't play, I'm not starting Zamir White. They'll just throw in the other guy who's next on the list, Amir Abdullah or whoever the hell no name they mix in. Some guy from the Patriots, I'm sure it'll always be. They'll get James White out of retirement or something. But Antonio Gibson's next on the list. He's a much better option than some of the ones I just named. Having said that, he's still not a great option. He's getting 5 or 6 targets a game and 10 carries a game. He's just not doing much with them. So I don't hate that option. Amir Abdullah and Rico Dowdle rounded out. Dowdle got into the end zone. That's why he was so added, but he's getting about 20. He's on the field for about 20% of snaps. And his only 2 usable games all season were where he scored. So I don't really want anything to do with that.
Question about Roshan after the bye. 1 touch. What are we making of that situation for the rest of the season?
Avoid it.
Just avoid. Yeah, don't touch that backfield. Like I don't. He saw 74% of snaps before, led the team in touches right before the bye, and then after the bye, they're like, phase the rookie out. Like I don't know what's going on. Like it's just it seems frustrating.
Well, they can make the playoffs, right? They're like in the hunt.
Yeah.
Especially after that win. So I mean, I think that's just a coach looking to save his job, and Foreman obviously the better option here, just the veteran presence. But Roshan is going to have those massive, just athletic boom games and plays, and if they're not going to let him run out there, then you're just going to have to leave him on waivers, I think.
Roshan? No, I don't know about. Okay, in redraft, yeah, he's a buy low or a pick up off of waivers.
Dynasty for sure.
I'll stash him for next year because he's going to be the one.
100%.
Moving on to wide receiver, we have Rashee Rice at 79%, Deontay Johnson 78%, Christian Watson at 74%. The medium level guys, we have Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, JSN, OBJ, who I forgot to link apparently. Deeper leagues, we have Eli Moore, Josh Downs, Noah Brown, Zay Jones, Quentin Johnson, Curtis Samuel, and Jonathan Mingo. And your dart throws are Jamison Williams, Tutu Atwell, Parker Washington, Demario Douglas, Dontavian Wicks. So I think Rice and Deontay are the most consistent. You have 3 Packers receivers who seem to be playing musical chairs. Most lately it's been Dobbs and Reed because Watson's been out. JSN seems to be coming on lately. And then from here on out, it's kind of hit and miss guys where they're good 1 week, bad for 2 weeks, great 1 week. Like these guys have all had a good game or 2 and then been completely useless. So it's kind of desperation time. So I would stick to a Packer or Rice and Deontay. I guess JSN. What's JSN been looking like? I'll look that up while you guys talk about it. I'm not sure what JSN's usage has been like.
He's been okay. It's not been great. He's kind of been up and down. He's selling more targets
for a while.
Yeah.
Oh no, it has been. So the last 2 weeks he's had 11 and 7 targets, which is by far the most he's had. So he's seeing a lot more targets. So I don't hate that. I think he's below. I start with Rice and Deontay. Then I group the 3 Packers together with Watson as the, you know what? Rice, Deontay, the 2 Packers in Dobbs and Reed, then JSN, then Watson, because Watson never plays. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
he's still dealing with that significant injury.
You're missing someone there in that medium league.
Yeah, who, OBJ. I'm not doing this. I'm just
10
it seems to be,
targets
but it seems
for
to
OBJ
be like,
last week.
Did he get that many? He always seems to me like Jameson Williams, where it's all of his production is on one blown coverage touchdown.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he's getting that downfield usage, right? But who else do they have? They have Zay underneath, and then they have OBJ over the top and likely in the middle, right? So, the Ravens were down, right? And they were like, the Rams kept scoring on that elite defense, which was odd. But we got Jacksonville up next week, then San Francisco, Miami. So at the very least, outside of Jacksonville, you have teams who can score, and you have teams with broken secondaries. So I don't hate it. Picking up OBJ.
Here's my problem with it. He's been good in 3 of the last 5 games. In all 3 of them, he's had a touchdown. In his last 5 games, here's his yards per catch: 11.5, 40, 29, 11.5, and 24. Those numbers and the touchdown numbers are completely unsustainable. I get it. Like I think he's not a terrible dart throw option. I don't want him against San Francisco, but like I don't know. That's just seems like he seems like the guy where the second him and Jameson Williams, the second I put them in my lineup, they're complete dud. But I hear you. Though.
I think he's with Elijah Moore in that range. It's just he ran like half the routes last week, and that's not what we want to see at all. So that's my bigger issue with him. If he was running like Zay was on the field the entire time, if OBJ's on the field the entire time, I'm gonna have a lot more confidence in him getting that floor, right? So he worries me with Elijah Moore because Cooper was back. I heard Elijah Moore a little bit, but like if you can get your hands on one of those Packers wide receivers, Reed is seeing a much bigger role without Watson. We saw them do the end around at the end zone with him. They're going to involve him. Like I like that a lot. Him and like either one of those guys, I'm fine with. But yeah, like you get Rashee Rice, obviously Deontay Johnson. I'm assuming both those guys you just own, so I'm not even really talking about those guys. JSN, he's solid too.
I just with OBJ between injuries, in and out of lineups, and new teams, I think it's also a point of he became Josh Gordon in AB territory for me, where I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Every time they come back, it's, we're going to do this again. I'm not doing this anymore. It's like with Josh Dobbs. Next year, Josh Dobbs will go to a new team. He will be good for 3 games on the Buccaneers or wherever, and then he will suck again. I'm not doing this. OBJ's on my I'm not doing this anymore list.
Yeah, and the name down there, like Quentin Johnston with Easton Stick, just not even entertaining that decision. And Jonathan Mingo, same issue. He's got Bryce Young. That's a disaster right now. Yep. But like, if you want a name that's really down there, the bottom list, it's Pop Douglas. He's the wide receiver 1 on the team. He's been the best. I get it, it's Bailey Zappi, but he's gonna see anything else stuff. So like, he'll be the floor play of all those guys that I'm at least interested in.
Well, he's been hurt.
So if he's healthy, he's the only key with that. But yeah, the other guys, I really don't want to charge a wide receiver. I'm like even questionable with Allen now. So just no, thank you.
There's 2 guys I want to add to this list. One is Malik Heath. Not because I want to add him, but because it was him last week, and it couldn't be any of these Packers wide receivers, right? So it's just somebody to consider when you are kind of plugging in Dobbs and Reed and Wicks. When will Watson return? Heath is on the field a lot more. There's even another it's Torrey. Samori Torrey was out there getting looks last week. So it's just outside of Dobbs and Reed, I don't want anything to do with any of these Packers wide receivers because they could just not see the looks. And if Watson comes back, it gets even cloudier. And you hope that Reed can overcome, but Dobbs isn't going away. So, it's just really tricky in Green Bay. So be careful. But the one I do want to add, and I totally blanked on it just now, talking about Malik.
So by the way, Wake's hurt his ankle, so he's going to be out. So it looks good for him.
All right. Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson is, with Atwell, I'm not sure what his injury status is, but that if Robinson is out there as the number 3 for the Rams, he's getting enough looks and is the field stretcher there. And Stafford is just throwing it all over the field.
Those were 3.
They play Washington. They play the worst defense in the league. They play Washington. So I'm all aboard that for if you need a guy this week. You need to 100%. That defense is trash.
This is one of the ones where normally I don't hate above. I don't mind the later options, but I'm not a big fan of the later options on this. They see like Curtis Samuel seems to be chronically undervalued here, but like Josh Downs seems so inconsistent. Noah Brown's not bad considering everyone's banged up. I should also add in John Mechie to this list. I don't know why I didn't add him. I know he's not very rostered, but what's that?
I say you just don't know what you're getting out of those guys week to week, even without like they played the Jets last week, so obviously that was a lot to do with it. But man, that was a disaster. Then Stroud got hurt, and so with Stroud's dealing with that concussion, if he's not back, like I'm just not touching the Houston pass catcher. But yeah, if Stroud's back, then 100%. Like you could definitely think.
Yeah, the problem is right. Like Tennessee, 2 of the next 3 weeks, like that should be a nice little matchup for Brown, for Nico. But again, all these guys depending on health, right? So. Right, like you said, it should be great, but it's too tough right now. You just don't know.
I always assume with the concussion they miss the next week. Although as of late, that seems to not be the case, and they've been getting back further. It's funny how we did this with COVID, where everyone overdoes it. Everyone overdid it with the concussions, and they're missing 10 days, then they're missing 8 days. Next thing you know, it's like they're out. Oh, they're back at the second half like it used to be. We go right back to the old just walk it off days, People stop overreacting, and the big thing of the day that everyone was losing their mind over doesn't matter anymore. And we just go back to being animals again. Moving on, we will close it out here with the tight ends. Shallow league options, Cole Kmet's obviously the best. Kyle Pitts, that's like OBJ for tight ends. Medium level, we've got Isaiah Likely, who finally had a good game and a great matchup. Everett, who is touchdown dependent. Deeper leagues, we have Brevin Jordan for as long as Dalton Schultz is out. K. Dotton keeps getting the playing time. Whether he turns it into anything remains to be seen. And the dart throws, don't particularly like any of them. Jawan Johnson, Dawson Knox, that says no, damn spell or autocorrect. Tucker Kraft and Davis Allen. Tucker Kraft, I don't mind for another week while Luke Musgrave is out, but I don't particularly want anyone on this entire list except for Cole Kmet. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's kind of a gross list.
I think Likely's fine. Like you kind of know what you're getting with Likely. He has some upside, so you can chase that. And then I will say Davis Allen. It depends on the injuries in front of him. Both of the guys were out. So Higbee was out, and the guy in front of him, it was Hunter Long, I think. He injured his knee, so they're both gone. So he's stepping into a role, and this is basically you're chasing the Washington defense. Like that's what you're chasing in this game. So he could be solid, but this is like desperation dart throw where if you're way down the list, go after Davis Allen. Like I prefer him to the guys at the bottom. I don't want the guys at the bottom. So if I'm doing the bottom barrel sharding, like I'll do it. He showed something that I haven't seen any of the other guys do at the bottom.
Yeah, Higbee's a neck injury, so he may not be back.
Yeah, I totally agree with Alan. I think you want to chase that. And K. Dotton, like you said, it's hit or miss. Likely, I'm going to pick him up, but Baltimore had the wide receiver 8, the wide receiver 9, and the tight end 3 last week. So we know that's just not sustainable, especially going against the teams they're going to be going against. So not a huge fan of that. But like you said, if Kmet's there, just run and grab him. He is continuing to ascend.
How does the algorithm work on this site? At the bottom, the advertising has weeks 7, 5, and 14. What an odd collection of just articles to promote. Random.
Is that based on like traffic or something?
I have no idea. Maybe it's just the most popular ones, but it's like 7, 5, 14. They're not even in order. You think it'd be 12, 13, 14, and then this is I don't know. I don't know how these algorithms work, but as we've seen from my YouTube channel, I'm clearly not found my way through the algorithms. They are a nightmare. So let me check on Sleeper here for who else is trending. In case we missed.
Likely against Jacksonville, and they've been one of the worst teams against that end. So I'm honestly fine if you can't get Kmet. Likely would be my second guy of all of these guys, just because he's been good. He has that 6 and 7 targets the last 2 weeks, so you just kind of just trust it and trust the process. And Lamar needs another weapon, so it's OBJ or it's Likely one of them's probably gonna hit. It's just good luck telling me which one it is because I have no idea.
Remember when Rashad Bateman was a thing?
Oh yeah, that was fun times.
I forgot
he's out there. He's out running routes. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's got the K. Dotton treatment. He's out there. Just nobody ever throws
the wind sprint king. Yeah.
So, it's not a great. There's lots of ugly options, but there are no league winners this week. So, I guess that is a wrap on an exciting waiver wire week. Catch us back on. I can't remember what's today. Tuesday. I got my days all mixed up. Tuesday.
Thursday.
Check back on Thursday where we will have a whole bunch of games. We're starting with AFC, I believe. Anybody remember it's all messed up for me because there's 3 Saturday games.
Oh, that's right.
AFC.
Didn't they flex?
Yeah,
Didn't they change a Thursday game?
No, it's still Chargers Raiders Thursday.
Yeah, it's Chargers Raiders is what it is.
Ooh, fun.
Yay.
AFC.
Rod Farva versus a guy with the last name Stick. It's gonna
be a mixed bag. I think we're gonna have to mix them in because we've got 3 Saturday games to get to. So we will be back Thursday at noon for AFC, Friday at noon for NFC. For Aaron, Jesse, and Jeremy, thank you all for tuning in. Take care and have a great day. We will see you on Thursday.